Welcome to the live. Get on out of all these apps. Hello, hello, hello. Come on in. If you're watching live, comment live. If you're watching the replay, comment replay. Make sure I got. If you're watching live, comment live. Happy Labor Day to those who applied to. Come on in and get this. All right. I am excited about this conversation today. So today I actually wrote an article on being a service provider and how it seems as if a lot of people are um, kind of leaving the whole service thing behind. And I think it's very unfortunate just because we are, in this season of change when it comes down to building businesses and trying to cultivate some level of human first approach when it comes down to business. And we got to remember why we came into business. And I think the article I wrote today for Substack, and obviously I told y'all I was going all in since one of the biggest things we're doing is definitely starting afresh when it comes down to our audience, our community, and definitely kind of removing a lot of the constipation in in our business. This camera is bothering me, y'all. I'm so ghetto. Okay. So I wanted to kind of bring some clarity. Today is, Labor Day for America. We celebrate, people just taking a day off just to rest, just to kind of collect ourselves, kind of being at home with our families, if you will. But most people now are doing what? We are making things happen, which is what? We're creating content, we're putting it out there. Today's starts locked in, right? And so what is the whole point of this video? So with the changes, with a lot of reflection that I've been doing over this past since probably June, July, like a lot of things that um when it comes down to building companies or building businesses, I notice a lot of things and I write them down. I take a note, I write a note about it. And then I'll say to myself, I'll address this later in a piece of content or something like that. And one of the things I wrote recently was from from a series of videos I've been watching about, when AI was really pushing forward. Like, I think this was before we knew that ChatGPT 5 was coming out. And a lot of people were like getting excited about that because we were thinking like it was going to get faster or there was going to be some other attributes to AI that was going to help us with certain things in the creative space. And then I started looking at the duality of it, which was centered around the future and looking at it as it was getting darker and darker and darker. And I do feel that we are in this season where people are just a little quote unquote exhausted. I don't know about y'all, but I know, like, I've gotten away from TikTok, right? I've gotten away from TikTok. Let me put this here, y'all. Hold on. Cause I'm gonna be digging into this because this is gonna be rich. And I left TikTok, right? I left TikTok. And now, of course, I'm on YouTube. I am on obviously Substack, Threads, and Instagram is like we have another Instagram agency page that um and we're only using platforms that get us in front of the SEO piece, the searchable key terms and things like that. Hey, Catrice. And feel free to say hello. If you're coming in, say hi, say, hey, girl, I'm here, or hey, coach, or whatever. Hey, Jay. Feel free to get some hearts. Feel free to share this video as well. So, one of the things that I have seen on like the especially YouTube is and threads. I'm gonna throw threads in there. Is the frustration. A lot of people sharing their observations, their frustrations, but I don't see a lot of thought leaders offering different solutions. And I'm seeing this more and more, especially with content creators that have large audiences. And I think this is kind of where I like people like me come in who are really outcome based. Like I don't like empty problems. Like I don't like when people bring me things and tell me that they're frustrated about, okay, so what we're gonna do about it? Like that's why I don't do a whole lot of small talk. I don't like a whole lot of just sitting down and kind of talking about stuff. If we're gonna talk about problems, let's talk about what are we gonna do to fix it. Like even for me, like when I solve my own problems, if I'm crying about something, um, if I'm mad about something, like I will allow my emotions to process. And then I will ask myself, okay, so what are we gonna do about this? What are we gonna do? Because I'm not gonna sit here and just like, what are we gonna do? Right. So it is nobody's responsibility to fix my problems but me. And if I can't fix it, then there has to be a solution somewhere. I don't buy that there is nothing. Like, oh, we're just and even when people come to me and say, "No, I just wanted to just tell you this I'm feeling." No. This is why when, like, clients used to come to me and I used to have this going on, like, around, what was it, 2020, like, 2022, I had a small group, and I remember a couple of young ladies used to get in there, and I used to be like, in my little Boxer thing, and they'll say, "Coach, I just wanted to say this, and, I don't need any tips or anything. I just want to." I said, "No, this is not why I'm here." I said, "We don't do that here." I said, "I'm not the kind of coach." I said, "This is coaching. This is not emotional dumping, and this is not therapy." Now, therapists have become solution oriented, but a lot of them are not. They keep you just talking about your problems, but there is no way to. A lot of them don't fix the problem. And I love solution based therapy. That's the kind of therapy I used to do. I used to do therapy as well. And y'all know, some of you know that I always tell people by trade, I'm a therapist. I have a master's degree in counseling, psychology, and all that. And I used to do therapy before I went to HR. So I used to let them know, like, we don't do that. Right. And solution based um, businesses are rooted and supposed to be rooted in solving problems. It's supposed to be solved. So a solution driver, right? When people don't know what to do in things, they pay someone to end it or to teach them how to end it, right? And so I look at people all the time and I'm like, how are you in business and you don't solve problems? That's number one in service. Like, I don't understand. Why have a business when you're not offering a solution? And we're finding more and more of that. And I'm on threads, right? I'm on threads and I have someone right now, and I'm gonna read what they said. Cause I thought this was very interesting. It proved my point. Like right before I got on this live, someone responded back to a thread that I wrote. Um, it was just so I said a lot of people are quitting social media quietly, and this is very interesting. So it brought on a person that said, it's a better existence. And they said that my mental health deteriorates drastically when I use it. So I proceeded to ask that person, I said, so why are you using it now? I said for business, I put in parentheses, it's for business. And also asked what specifically about using social media deteriorate your mental health. Okay, so deteriorating is a very strong word to use when you're talking about something taken away. Because anything that's deteriorating you, you would think that you would say, you know what, let me step back and just like take a break, right? Let me just, because deteriorating means literally it is itching you away. And it's almost like self abuse when you keep doing things and getting on things or using things or being with people that hi Nikki, welcome. She's a tuning in from UK. I love it. And so this person is losing to be like this these are things that are I'm questioning, right? So this person is saying that this deteriorated my mental health. And I said, so why are you using it? What specifically about using it, it's just your mental health. And she said, or he said, I don't know if it's a man or woman, first, I'm an addict. Hard stop. Secondly, it's a hatred that has infested every nook and cranny of social media that is deteriorating all of our minds. Now, she included me in it because I didn't say it was deteriorating mine. I'm using it because when I don't, and I often take breaks, the world changes and I have no idea what's going on. Listen to what I just said now, okay? This is where we at. Because the world is now a mirror of social media, not the other way around, it has affected the real world. So perception, right? This is what I'm gathering from what they just said. They proceeded to say it has infected, not affected, infected our minds. And I know that when I say this on a deeper level, you know I'm not wrong. She was telling me, they were telling me, you know I'm not wrong. Okay. Let's say that that is the case. When do you draw the line? I'm on this person's page just to see. You know what their bio says? Sharing my journey of healing, mindfulness, and gratitude. Now, it goes back to what I said. Let me go back to what I just said. The words that we decide to use, even in our content, okay? I can use anything as a teaching method. I can use anything as a teaching moment, okay? Because it's all revelation. It's all a part of our learning experience, right? And so when we use these like certain words in our content, okay, the content game is about what for business owners. And I'm have to be very specific when I say that because I'm not talking to just people that want to get on social media and just pass the time. I'm specifically talking to people who want to build a business, who want to create solutions, who want to build a customer base and be able to serve them no matter where they are using the power of social media / interest media in order to obtain their leads, and it converts people into their containers, programs, courses, etc., with intent because the messaging and the content is alignment to what they do. But it also is a wake up call that we have to get very we have to catch ourselves to not get into the hype and the conversations that's around the deterioration in so many ways. Because if you're not careful, you will treat this thing as a way to gather other people to see the world in misery as you will or you have. We have to be very careful of that. Now, this person, I'm telling you, I cannot help that person. They have already told me very specifically where their limitations are, and there is no intent to release them. When people, and I'm telling you the truth, if you see people that are dead set on keeping a problem that they have absolutely no interest in getting rid of, you just keep on going about your way. Because what is your primary objective on social media? What is your primary objective? Your primary objective is to serve. Your primary objective is to serve powerfully and as an authority. You have to be over the problem and to understand that anybody that has a problem that's in your wheelhouse, that is a person that you give value to. And if they want to learn more, guess what they're going to do? They're going to follow you. They're going to go to your YouTube channel. They're going to go to your Facebook page. They're going to go wherever you are to find out more. Now, service is a feminine attribute in so many ways, right? That's where we're at. That is not to say this is a woman's thing. It is a feminine attribute, feminine energetic attribute, which can go for men and women. Okay. However, what is happening in the world today? The world today is fixated on transactional connections, which means what? It has to be high value based. The tighter that the economy is perceived to be, and I have to put heavy on the word perceived. Okay, because the narrative is whatever we believe it to be. The narrative is whatever the masses are telling us that it is. And in actuality, it's really not the case. Okay? So they have to tell us things are tightening up. Amen, somebody, right? So, service is something where what happens? You take time, you spend time doing things that you love. When you're talking about service, you can spend time with your client more when you're doing service. Am I lying? You have more time to research when it comes down to service, right? You have more time to educate your client when you're talking about service. You have time to get to know them when you're doing service. Okay, not saying you're trying to be all in their business, but you're and not being nosy. No, you're not trying to be nosy. You're just trying to find out what about them motivates them to seek the outcomes that you offer. This is good right here. So because of the shifts and how the internet is being utilized, right? Because AI, let them tell it, like I told y'all yesterday, AI was initially supposed to be about um, creativity and productivity, right? It was supposed to allow us the time, allow us the energy to just flow, right? And to get things done faster. So service was all about like, oh, I can serve more. I have more time. I can da 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 da. And then time start going on. And you see all these conspiracies coming out, and then the conversation started to change around AI. Like for example, ChatGPT started out as what? Let's go ahead and put Sam Altman on the table. Sam Altman came out first saying that ChatGPT, OpenAI, was supposed to be a non-profit. I don't know if y'all remember that. Some of y'all probably don't. I remember this to the T. They were interested in being a nonprofit, which means they was just going to serve people. People love that because, and how many humans love the fact that it was nonprofit? Like they're not taking a profit from this. This is amazing. That means they want to help Americans. They want to help people who are creatives to do more creative stuff. Then guess what else happened? Other people started getting hip to the game and started saying, we in it too. So you got the deep seeks and the perplexities and the what is the groks and all of these other AI companies, right? It was really, 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 it became a competition. They started to suck up and try to get up under the layers of big man up there in 1600. So these things started to happen. So these guys, these tech bros, they started to kind of raise up the bar of competition. And so OpenAI started to say, wait a minute, maybe we just need to just go ahead and just become, private. Maybe we just need to go ahead and just, we're going to use this money to just raise money and we're just going to become a for profit. But they did it without really telling a lot of people. They just kind of slipped it in there. So Elon was one of the key investors in OpenAI because he was supporting of it. And then all of a sudden he was like, wait a minute, did y'all file anything? Did you do a 501c3? Like, what's going on? Like, why aren't y'all like trying to be a nonprofit for real? Then things started to change. So they were no longer a nonprofit. They were now a for-profit. And they slipped it in. And so now all of a sudden, the competition started to come up more and more and more. Meta AI started to get involved, et cetera. So now what we have, a lot of tech bros, a lot of the tech industry getting online to spread the word about the doom and gloom of the future. Now, I'm so grateful that even in my journey, I even like my heart started to grieve because as a mother myself, I started to think about my child's future. And anytime you're doing a whole lot of doom and gloom and you're listening to these conversations being had and people are talking about this and it's like, wait a minute. And then it starts the dust starts to settle. You'd be like, wait a minute, but what does that mean for my child? Like, what does it mean for my nieces and nephews that are still children? This is not good. Right? Because you want to ensure like the next generation can take care not only of the world around us, but take care of themselves. Because what kind of future would that look like? Now we're even moving into the corporate sector where people are like, the job market is very, very unsettling. So you got a lot of people that are nervous, like they're getting laid off as soon as they get on the job. People moving across the country and trying to, get these jobs. And then they're getting on these jobs in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months, 6 months. They're being told that they're reorganizing. So now people are like, wait a minute, I moved here to join this company, right? So now that's up in arms. So now you have a lot of despair in the market, right? You have a lot of people that are like, okay, I don't know what to do. So social media has now shifted to being this place where everybody was sharing their creativity, sharing their wins, sharing their excitement around what they were creating, the wins on client acquisitions, the innovations, what tools they're using, sharing those tools to and also too business models. Let me throw that in there. I forgot to put this in there too. Is that business models is also changing. Like we're shifting more into non-client models. Now this is something that's personal and I've been guilty of this. I was saying to myself, like, I'm not going to have any clients. I'm just going to do straight up distribution. I'm just going to have straight up subscriptions and straight up this and straight up that. And then that's going to be it. I quickly found out, like, Jay, this is not you. Like, you're not a person that doesn't like to sit with their client. Like, you don't, like, you love to sit with your clients. I remember coaches used to kind of not mess with me a little bit, but they used to be like, girl, you do so much for your client. Like, why you do all that? Like, it's just so much. I'm like, because I like it. Like, like, I kind of like it. Like, I got to like my client. And so, personalizations, right, began to be kind of scoffed at, especially in the coaching market, which I didn't think that was like, I thought that was kind of off to me, but whatever. And I said, how can I help transformations when all of my transformations have been because of my personalizations? I'm being transparent. Let's bring it up. Let's bring it up. These are things I had to stand back and think about. Like, wait a minute, Jay, what are you doing? This is what made you. This is what made Ellison Ellison. This is what made the digital lead her, digital lead her. This is up under the umbrella of Ellison. And I said, this is what made our business pop. This is what kept us in business by putting those personalizations in place because we are a service-based company. We pride ourselves on doing that. So then step back and you're like, well, okay, I feel off. I feel dumb. I feel crazy. This let me talk to myself. And so whatever I could do in my emotional bandwidth to help each client that I personally helped or was personally in my spaces to get what they needed so they can move forward, I was willing to do that. Even if it meant like, okay, coach, I'm having da 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 da. Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's walk through the framework of how to handle this emotionally. Let's walk this through and let's do this X, Y, and Z. But then something kind of shifted as well because people that even women that were not necessarily on my high level client roster, I would kind of offer little value points and things like that in DMs and stuff like that. But what I started to find is that a lot of people just wasn't interested in solving problems. They were not interested in doing that. They saw the potential of financial freedom because of what they saw other people doing. But people don't remember you when you're doing quick things like that. Like they don't remember you. And I know you're probably saying, well, I want to get rich anyway. Like I want to get rich, like I don't care. Well, if that is the case, you're probably on the wrong live. Because I believe in service. And I believe in service and you can get rich at the same time. I do believe that. I believe that. But I am seeing more of a transactional approach because I even said this too, is that we're not careful. We're not only going to see this in romantic relationships, if economy stuff gets a little tight, guess who takes hits? Relationships. Relationships take a hit first. Relationships are rooted in like-mindedness. And in Christina, say your message. Your relationships are rooted in how can we serve each other? They're supposed to be anyway. They're supposed to be. They're supposed to be what I feel like my weaknesses are, you're strong. And whatever you're strong in, and we can like trade off, right? So relationships, like how can we relate to one another? This is how we relate to one another. So it's kind of like the positive and the negative kind of put it together, like magnetized, right? Okay, got it. Now, relationships usually take a hit when economic issues come up. Actually, even if you look at some of the data that's starting to come out, is that we're now in a time where even married couples are not having as much intimate time. I told people, I said, these wives are going to have to get skilled up. They sitting at home, sitting pretty, talking about feminine, feminine, feminine. You see how many soft wives, soft like wives, are also coaching. Like they're making content. That's why I say like soft life is an illusion if you could just understand what I'm saying. And this is no lifting my leg up to the soft life. But it's a pretty term. It's a sexy term. It's messaging. It's what gets the girls going. But it's not real. It's a illusion because they're working. And they're not working for passion. I'm telling you that there is nothing passionate about having to still do stuff every single day. And I think there's also um some layers there where you have to be okay with telling the truth. No woman wants to feel like she's grinding and hustling. Let's not excuse this for you have to work, right? I mean, that's just it. You can attract all day, but the attraction and all these things come with how many people are you talking to per day? How many people are you offering value to per day? How many people are you leading to your offer every single day? How many people are you offering your PDF or your free training to every day? These are all leadership driven, solution driven activities. When I tell people like how to grow or how to build on the back end, the first thing I say is you can have as many followers as you want, but are you engaging with your audience? And usually the question is no. Why are you not? Why are you not doing that? You know why? Because relationships are they're on the back burner because people just want you to follow them. People just want you to worship them. We're obsessed with that worship piece. And posting and leaving and then griping and complaining about my content is not really moving is just it's an indication that you need to do some inner work around why that is. Because people buy from you because you make them feel seen and heard. Do y'all not understand that? Do people not get that? I don't know. Do we understand that? Okay, Christina said I had a one-on-one with you last year, and you did walk through all of my questions to get moving, and your inside direction was spot on this year. So I love that. And the thing is Christina is giving a real life testimony. Like me and her sat down one-on-one last year, did a intensive, and she was so nervous. Christina, she said that. She said, I was so nervous about going straight into B2B. And I told her, you gotta do what you gotta do, honey. You gotta do, you can do this. You just have to, and I told her the way, a methodical way to do that without like rummaging her nervous system. And she did exactly what I told her. And now she's just flowing in B2B opportunities. And Christina, you let me know if I'm off about that. And she did a reflection post in our community, in our paid community, Contrarians. She was like, I'm sitting here looking at me last year with you, Coach Jay, and to know that I'm doing exactly what I was afraid of doing, that I really wanted to do last year, and I'm doing it this year. That's what I'm kind of talking about. And she's just said, she said, I was nervous to be into B2B, but now it's natural. Exactly. And the thing is that it's the seeds that we sow and the focus that we pour in is service. Even I have clients that are hairstylists. I just give that's a perfect example. They're hairstylists, right? And here in Memphis, I know that's a huge problem in Memphis because it get on my nerves too. And if it had not been like my hairstylist retired about 5 years ago. I used to like she was so good. I used to come home like from Houston and me and my daughter would get our hair done by her. Like she was so good. And she had been my hairstylist since I was 12. If you could put some like that's how mad I was when she was retiring. I was like, so who's gonna do my hair? So anyway, but one of the things that kept us going to her was what? She she first of all, she wanted our business like that. And look, let me tell you how much another thing of how close we were to her. She used to come, she did my hair for prom. She did my homecoming hair and makeup. Let me tell you how bougie I was. I was running for obviously senior homecoming queen. I got senior homecoming princess, so the second, which I was, whatever. I was kind of shocked I got that because anyway, it's a whole story. But I was the only one, honey, that had hair and makeup on in the room. Everybody was like, Jay got hair and makeup. Like I was telling my mom, I was like, I want her to come do my hair. I want her to come do my makeup. So anyway, why? She heavy service, very heavy service for years, right? It was very intensely service based. I mean, we paid her good too, but what I'm saying is that she was infused in our family dynamic almost. to the point where, like, even my daughter got to know like her grandchildren and all of that. So when she retired, it was such a blow to us because she was a part of our upbringing and things like that. But it was also because she did quality work and she was very customer service oriented. Longevity is based on those concepts as far as service based entrepreneurship. But as time goes on, and you recognize that people don't want the service, they just want, I just need you to do this. Never get to know you, never wanted to find out more about your problem or assess the problem. Everything is centered around transaction. Do it and leave. Go back to the hairstylist. So I've had clients that tell me, like, I had no idea. Now, this was very new to me, especially if you're in the black hair game, like, wigs and stuff and lace and all that stuff. Had no idea that a lot of the women that were doing these lace fronts and all this kind of stuff were not licensed. I did not know that. See, I didn't come from that era. So I was like, and then when I found out that if they don't wash your hair, if a lot of them don't wash your hair, then there's a likelihood that she's not licensed. Let me know if I'm wrong, but that's what I found out. So a lot of the girlies that are getting into hair in the hair game, they're not in it for the longevity. They're only in for the money and for I need money now. There is no longevity. There is no I'm in for the health, right? Even if it's someone that did lace fronts or did some type of wig service that they took care of the hair under there, and that person's hair started to grow. And I know we have hairstylists like that. I know we have licensed, amazing credentials, hairstylists, and I need to say cosmetologists because it's really what it is. Let's just be 100, okay? Because you got cosmetologists and you just got people that just do hair. Amen, somebody. So, so cosmetologists, there is a heaviness in the science of hair, in the scalp of hair, in the medicinal treatment of hair, right? The oils, the chemistry, the nutrients, the vitamins, the care, the frequency of how each style is supposed to be used, and the products, what products are safe for the hair. Instead of going to a regular beauty supply store where a lot of those chemicals are damaging your hair, where there is no solving of root causes. You understand? There's no solving of the root cause. It's just rooted in, I want my hair done and I got to go to this event and I just got to do that. Come on, Charles. She said, former cosmetologist. She said, you're right. Licensed professionals know that shampooing the hair sets the foundation for the service. So come on, Charles. You just preached right there because what are we doing to set the foundation of our business? I'm about to run. What are we setting the foundation? Do you have pre-work for your people, right? Do you have pre-work? Do you have something for them to prepare them to work with you? Every part of your business at this particular point should be going towards the ultimate solution of why people work with you. You need to go back and look at your offers, look at your offer suite, look at your entire program and service and say, what is the foundation first? How am I setting the expectation? Because if the world is anti-human, if the world is moving towards heavy transaction, how am I positioning myself to build relationships with people that actually will see me as a high value expert? I can still be myself. I can still be authentic. I can still show up as who I am. But what am I doing to really set the standard of my business? And if I am not finding, let's go back to the beginning of the conversation when we were talking about that person that was on the threads and how they were just kind of emotionally just going all in. That person, somebody like that, we have to understand there's a lot more people like that than there are people that actually want to get the work done. Because the have and the have nots, we're here. We're here. We are here in real time. We're actually like you're not really thinking about we're here. Either you have it or you don't. But I'm gonna tell you this: the prize commodity is where? The prize commodity is right here. Everybody's mind, I told you your mind is up for grabs. So your mind can either make you money or it's gonna make you miserable. That's a bar. You need to just go ahead and put that into some words when you find your notebook. Is it gonna make you money or is it gonna make you miserable? Christine said service. My favorite thing with my business is when a client goes, how did you know we were experiencing and that we needed this training? That's what I'm trying to tell you. You have to immerse yourself. I want everybody to hear what I'm saying. Are you immersing yourself in the work? Are you immersing yourself in the problems? And when I say in the problems that your people are having, this is why you got to do the inner work when it comes down to your own problems. Because how do you solve your problems? You solve your problems by solving other people's problems. How do you know that you're getting too far away from it? When people stop coming to you about their problems and they come to you basking in it. When you get more concerned about talking about the problem instead of actually fixing it. When you stop being solution driven, and even in your own life, even in your own life, that's how you know you're getting far away from it. Is everybody kind of understanding where I'm coming from? We have to get back to this place of understanding why we do what we do. What type of person are we bringing in? This is why I told people, like, if you're not trying to create content that is based around the problem that I don't care if you're doing lifestyle, I don't care if you're doing life coaching, I don't care if you're doing consulting, I don't care what your niche is. People need to be able to see your content and actually learn from it in some form or fashion. Now, when people start asking things like how and well, how do you fix it? I don't understand. Like, okay, so when people start responding like that, you already know that that person is probably just not going to be the client for you because your ideal client is not unraveling off of something that you know. Because a lot of people that unravel online are individuals that are not fit for service. They're not serving. They're not, and they're not fit. Like when some people say things like, "Oh, well, everybody is not meant to be an entrepreneur." The first type of person that comes to mind is someone who cannot handle their own emotions when it comes down to having conversations that are difficult and uncomfortable. So if you're not able, if you see a person that starts to unravel and say, "Oh, well, I don't understand. Well, why do you keep saying it? Why can't you just give it?" Just thank you for your comment. Mm-mm. That's not going to work. And I immediately know when a person is just not there. I will offer value to that person and just be like, if I were you, I would do this. But I would immediately know that this person is just not fit to work with because they're not ready. And they cannot be on a capacity level. They cannot hold the transformational process. And that's just what it is. And The transformational process is a process. And a lot of people don't have the emotional bandwidth to handle that because of the nature of their world that they're living in. You understand? So what does that mean? That means that you're going to have to go into spaces. And you're going to have to go into markets where people can have the energetic bandwidth to uh to talk business and to understand your service and to understand your process and your methodology. Christina says, "Oh, I used to internalize the how that every post had to answer every single question." Right, right. Versus a B2B client that DM me and said, "We need you. Can you call me?" Right, right. They need to be able to understand that their problem is something that you know a whole lot about without always having to give the answer in so many ways, because sometimes it's really about them understanding that there is a problem, and people that know the language of value, that they want customizable, or they want help that you can solve, and you've productivized the solution to the problem. Right? So it's almost like this person knows that there is something that you can offer that you know a lot about, and they understand the value of the mutualness of the value. So they're not going to take anything from you and not give you an offering, because it's all it is. When we're talking about the service provider aspect, right? The feminine part of that is what? I'm providing you a service with the intent to help you, first of all, feel better. It's supposed to make you feel better. It's supposed to make you think better. It's supposed to make you feel better in life. Like there's a load, it feels like a load came off, right? Just think about, let's go into the hairstylist conversation. When people go to a hairstylist, usually women, we go to what? Feel better. We go what? To get ready for some event. We want to feel pretty. We want to feel like we're ready to slay in so many ways, right? If I go and I'm mad because my hair is not styled right or whatever, or I feel like it's itching or it's burning and all kinds of stuff, I'm upset. I'm not in a good mood. I don't feel like I got the value. And the hairstyle, the service provider still expects to, be paid in so many ways, right? But at the end of the day, the whole point is to go for the transformational outcome. Now, this person has to be able to render a service and be able to be competent in oneself to deliver the service. And because it's an abstract thought, right? Because it's part of the holder of the talent of that person, which I know that sometimes it can be a little nerve-wracking to serve somebody who you don't know how they're going to react at the end. And that's the only reason why I say there is some creativity associated with that, because usually creatives are service providers. We have a unique perspective on how we see our art. I mean, yes, you get skills to refine your talent and your desire. Like you get it and you learn how to do it. You get better and better at it, right? And then but you're at the detriment, or you're at the mercy of the person on the end who is receiving that service from you, because your unique approach, which is always why it is so important to find your unique method, because you're like, everybody has a model, and it could be the same type of model, but you have a unique approach. You have a group program. A group program is a business model that's pretty universal, right? But your own method is what makes your group program different. If you have a good group program, your unique method, I'm sorry, y'all, can be anything. It's just the fact of the matter is how you deliver that and how those people perceive on the other side. The more we get away from service, the more we get far removed from even that feminine aspect of it, right? We turn more and more into spiraling out. So what does this mean? What is the whole point of this video, right? The whole point of the video is to get you to start thinking about how you are projecting yourself in your business. And if you are a service provider, what does that look like for you? Because there are certain things that you need to do. And I wrote YouTube, I don't know if y'all on Substack or not, but I just wrote an article about that today. I consider it to be very good. Definitely take a look at it because I really, and it's a long article. Y'all know I told y'all long form content is in. So you're gonna have to train your brain to think in um, longer pieces of time, like longer concentration times. You're gonna have to learn how to train your brain for that. Short form content is going to be the detriment of a lot of entrepreneurs' issues in their business going down because they're not training their brain to concentrate and focus on larger pieces of data. Processing, me and my daughter just had this conversation too, recently. And the reason why a lot of people are, having all these learning disorders and reading disorders, because a lot of times we're not concentrating on the mind being able to process. The brain has to process all this data. And when you're giving it bite-sized pieces of data all day, what you are training your brain to do is to receive pleasure and not walking your purpose. There is there's a tearing away of solving problems, but you're more focused on pleasure. Anything to get the dopamine hit, anything to feel like you're satisfied for the moment, but it's messing you up on a long-term basis. We are jacking our brains up as we speak because we are not focused on training the brain for what is to come. And it goes back to the point, Christina, because I wrote everybody in my Substack community chat, and I'm finding that more and more people are saying that they wish they would have used it. So if you're on Substack and building up your follower base, you probably need to think about doing community chats because um, it's kind of like Facebook groups, but more concentrated and more. I love it. I love it already. And let me go into what you said, Christina. It's up in the subscriber chat. Not being able to, like, our clients not sitting down and doing their real work, right? Is they're not sitting down and really giving time to the real work. Because why? Because we're focused on the pleasure principle and we're focused on avoidance. Because a lot of us are in the state of avoidance. And if you're in business right now, even though I understand that you want to run and you want to run away from your problems, because that's what many of us want to do, but we just want to run away. And I'm seeing a whole lot of um, content centered around rest and rest and rest. You got to be careful of the type of content and the type of data that you are receiving, because your children are not going to like the fact that you spend more time avoiding the problem instead of leaning into it. To those who apply to. That was loud. So we have to start thinking about how are we positioning our brains to receive that, to receive more pieces of data so that we could solve higher level problems. And part of that is the lack of confidence that a lot of us have about approaching companies or opportunities that calls for a more a complex problem solving understanding. And the when we don't have the confidence, it's simply because we have trained our brain to only go after certain services and opportunities in the social spaces that really solves very short term types of problems, which are usually lower priced, which are usually more emotional based instead of transformational based. And so I would love for you to just consider shifting your model to more bigger, more high level, but simplicity, right? So the problem solving is higher and appreciative because a lot of the problems that you'll be solving is going to be very, very far away from service, very far away. And if you are a service oriented person like myself, it's not going to feel good having a business model where you're so far away. And if that is the case, then it's also associated with IQ and EQ. I know this sounds very harsh and direct, but most people that don't like people and don't want to deal with people, it's because they have a very, very low communication effect or the communication competency level. They're not good communicators. You have to be careful of that, especially if you're in business. And if you are going to be horrible at communication, you probably need to go and get out because that is what's going to differentiate a lot of the players in the game and those who have quit the game. People who have quit the game are horrible, horrible, horrible when it comes down to communication per se because they can't hold space for that type of emotional conversation and exchange. So if you're going to be in business, you have to train yourself how to think deeper and how to think on an expanded level. Have we all made mistakes? Absolutely. Have we all did things? Um, Let me see. So the higher I work, the more I get away from service. And no, 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 no. So what I'm saying, service oriented work is not necessarily doing more work, right? That's not what I'm talking about. Which means that people will pay you for their service. So if you have one-on-ones and you have scale, like you're scaling in the work in service, because there's a difference between scaling out of service and scaling in service. And I wrote that in my Substack article. So that's why I say y'all got to read to the end because at the end, that's what I talk about. How to scale in service instead of scaling out of service. Does that make sense? When you're scaling out of service, that means you are removing yourself away from the connection and the relationship building aspect. And usually, the farther you are away from your client, the farther you're away from them, the less likely that they are to resign, the less likely they are to retain because they don't feel connected to you anyway. So with that being said, if you are someone who is looking to take your services up. Like, for example, my client, Maya, who did the 250K, she's a service oriented person. Christina, service oriented, have clients that are killing it in the game even now because why? They are service oriented. So I'm gonna read Charles. She said, I needed this stylist analogy with service providing, something that's unlocking for me. I love that. Yes. Is it Dominator X42? Said, I'm not so much business oriented in my thinking, but this is absolutely correct. She's basically describing the trivium methodology of learning. It's really about like how are we processing information and how we training our brain to do that. And if we are nervous about serving our client at a higher level, which means what? What do I mean by higher level? And I'm going to get ready to end. When we talk about higher level clients, that means individuals that can hold the emotional space and they can hold themselves and put themselves, their emotion, their bodies, right? Because emotion is felt, it's a physiological response. They are able to hold that back to intuitively, mentally, almost low key logically receive information from you. So it's almost like you're providing the feminine aspect of how to solve the problem because people think that I'm just going to go ahead and say this. Usually problem solving is a feminine aspect. We solve a lot of problems. We solve way more problems and way more effectively than men do. No shade to men, but women, we usually really solve problems. We solve good problems. We solve problems and we usually solve them effectively. But I'm gonna tell you the difference. I'm gonna tell you the difference. Usually, women, we solve problems that get to the root cause. We're root cause people. Like we're like, why don't you just da 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 da, and it's all the way down to the root. It ain't like solving a problem right now and just get over it. That's usually kind of masculine. Masculine kind of just, we just go to y'all have to go to the symptom. We go all the way down. And then that way you ain't gotta have no issues with it no more. Because who likes problems? But you want them to come back. Just do that. And that's it. And if it does come back again, guess what? You're so self-sufficient in the process that of what we told you that you can, if it comes back up, you know how to do it yourself. Because not only are we root cause oriented, right? We are also self-sufficient. Like when you learn how to do it, you can do it yourself. You ain't got to keep coming back to me. I'm going to teach you how to do it. And I'm going to teach you how to do it over and over and over again so you don't have to come back to me. Because what I'm doing is also cutting off the dependency. And you can do this yourself. Now you have learned something in an intelligence and it has added on to your what? To your neural pathway where you got an aha. So every single time you think of something, you be like, oh, I remember Coach Jay taught me that. And you can just do it. I don't want you to cut let's get to the problem. Let's solve the problem, right? Let's get the framework down. Let's get the methodology down. So every single time you do, and I'm going to give you tools, right? I'm gonna give you tools, templates, and XYZ. So when you leave me, you can get on with it. You can come back to the tools. You can come back to the templates. You can come back to what we talked about. You can come back to the conversation. You can come back to the recording. You can come back to what I told you. Because at the end, remember, you have to always think about how did you feel when you finished with that person? You felt clear. You felt good. You felt aligned. So now that you have the tools and the templates and what to do next, anytime you forget, guess what you're going right back to what we talked. It's just like when you think about, people, your parents or your family members that have taught you things over the years, and you get into a situation and you be like, I remember my mom said, or I remember my brother said, I remember my sister told me, I remember my grandmother taught me this. So it's like you draw from the lessons and the information that they gave you that you remembered it's etched in your memory. It's something that you can recall. We have to also be careful with with the society that we have. That a lot of people are just not reading like they used to. A lot of people are not reading. Nothing is built on memorization. Everything is built upon just receiving information, but not receiving and holding or processing. That's also a red flag that we're looking at. Like the whole reading and writing thing and people taking time out to separate themselves from what is being taught and saying, okay, let me get this. Learning is not, I'm listening. And that's what we have turned learning into. We have turned learning into just listening. I'm hearing you. I'm listening. I'm picking up what you're putting down. No, you're not. If people are telling you, I'd be listening to you all the time. That's not learning. You know what applicable learning is? You know what actual effective learning is? Learning is implementation. Learning is practice. I'm busting y'all bubbles today. Learning is investment of the time and the energy towards application of what the methods are. It's not, I'm just listening, because that's just motivation. Because even inspiration and motivation are the same thing. Inspiring actually moves you to do something. You have to get up and do something when you're inspired. Motivation is very short term. Motivation is knowing what I'm supposed to do. And I know what I'm supposed to do because I have been doing it, but I've hit pockets of inaction where I have to get something to remind me of what I'm doing and get up and do it. Motivation is just somebody who already has what they need to do. They already know, and they've done it. Motivation is just merely reminding that person of what you can do. So you don't want motivated sellers or buyers, right? You don't want motivated buyers. You want inspired buyers. You need to write that down. I want inspired buyers. I want people that take action that is going to be transformational, because inspiration is a divine method. It's a divine mentality. You want people that want not only what you have, but they want what you have today, because time is of the essence for them. It's not when I get my taxes. It's not when I can figure things out, when I leave this person or when I get out of the situation, because you don't know when you're getting out. You're fighting for your future at that point. I know y'all don't like those words, but that's really what we're doing at this point. You're fighting for your future. Your future is being created every single day you wake up. Every moment, like even right now, your future is being unfolded as you take these moments of listening. Like I even told people, like, now, go and read the Substack article. You know why people won't go and do it? A lot of people won't go and do it. It's because we're not focused. People are hoping for just a gleam of push to make them go and do something, and they're not going to do it, because it takes a person that is actually going to get up and take action. And so that's the reason why service is up for question. Because the more people sit, they don't want to be served. They don't want to be provided a service. They want to talk about it, but they don't want to be provided with a service. So that's unfortunate, but there's no excuse, because there are so many people that are waiting for you to show up. So many. So many. Like I told y'all, $47 for an optimizer that's going to help you with your offer. And I'm telling you that people have gotten results from it because they have an offer for the globe. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, you need to train yourself to write more. I'm telling you that you need to create more content surrounded by solutions and getting the problems out the way and solving other people's problems. I'm telling you that. You see how many people just sit there? I told y'all a long time ago, you need to start globalizing your business and start getting into spaces where you can be seen by more international leads and opportunities. Told you that. You know why you're not moving? Because you're waiting on someone to tell you to move. Nobody's coming to get you. Not even me. I know that. Do you know that? So you're going to have to start making some decisions. Y'all got to move. You have to want to, though. I can't make you want. I can't. You got to find your why. And you've got to reactivate that why, because the why is what's going to make you get up. And you need to stop listening to people tell you that the soft life is this and soft life is that. There's no offense to anybody that do the soft life thing. But if you have children, especially for people like me, I don't get that option. Now, some people that don't have children, all that kind of stuff, I don't, they can move by the beat of their own drum. But when you have people to feed, you can't. You have to go. You have to move. You have to make things happen. I don't want to rest. I do too. But you have to buy your way out. And it's really anybody right now. It's really to anybody, because even what you're doing, even if you're doing well, you could be doing better. And I'm here to tell you that now, that you don't get comfortable. Don't ever get comfortable. Oh, I can sit here and just no, 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 no. You can do 10% more. You can do 15% more. Because what you are looking for is the comfort of now and later. And everything you're doing right now is compounding. And if you got more than one, if you got 2 children or 3 children or et cetera or more, you don't you can't afford to sit down. You cannot do it. Not now. I'm sorry. Should have did that 5 years ago. But you gotta do the work now. You have to go all in. I'm about to put up the digital lead her on the new link. I'm about to put up some other stuff to work with me. I have the monetization session, all of that going. Listen, we have to lean in. We have to lean in. Okay. I hope y'all are still working today. If you're an entrepreneur, Labor Day does not apply to you. Okay. Sorry. It doesn't. Now, if you saying, well, I'm just chilling, that's on you. You're gonna pay for that. But entrepreneurs, the Labor Day does not apply. It only applies to employees. Did you know that? Do you know that? I'm gonna need for you to know. It's not for you. So if you parlayed all day and did not make one piece of content, I'm gonna need for you to do that. You need to get focused. You get focused. Okay? You need to get on somebody's platform and just start making some videos or whatever. Just get in alignment. Because your money is in you. Let me ask somebody for some money. Mm-mm. For what? You got it in you. What are you talking about? Email clients today. That's right. Email leads today. You don't know. Mm-mm. You get to work. You need to get to work. You can make money today if you just get out of your head. Okay? I had to slap you a little bit at the end. Go and read that Substack article because I'm digging more methodically into it and definitely comments. That's another thing, y'all. Engage. I am engaging more and more and more, and I love it. I love it. I love it. Engaging, actually, I'm going to tell you this, and I got to go for real. When you engage with other people's content, and I always tell people, if you've ever been a client of mine, if you've ever been in my containers, you know how I feel about, like, you got to engage. You got to engage. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you why. When you engage and you leave a thoughtful comment, and you also provide some level of a little mini value. Don't you know I have been paid based on comments that I have left on other people's stuff. I told y'all that. I don't understand why people don't listen to what I say. People have seen my comment and actually contacted me based on my comment that I've left on somebody else too. I said, I saw what you said. Somebody paid me in full, did not know me because of a comment I left on somebody else's page. I do that all the time. Now, did I stop for a while this year? Like, I slowed down a lot. Now, I didn't stop, but I slowed down a lot. Yeah. But these past 2 days, somebody I did not know from Dominican Republic sent me a note. It was like, I just saw what you said on this thread, and I went straight to your Substack. And I am very impressed. I don't know this person. So if you are in my wheelhouse, I don't need you to put yes. I'm gonna delete your comment, especially if you've been a client of mine. You better not say, oh, yes. I need you to write something that makes sense. Act like you know what you're saying. Everybody on here an expert. Amen, somebody. Take the time out and go on people's stuff. Read and offer a thoughtful, because this is everybody. I'm talking to everybody. It ain't got to be mine. But you need to do more of that so people can see you. And it actually expands your reach, y'all. You gotta understand that. Like, even on threads, like, comments go viral. Just like on TikTok, you go viral on TikTok, but on threads, because you can be more methodical over there. LinkedIn is the same way. Substack is the same way. People have start following me based on comments I'm leaving under other people's Substack notes in their articles. That's not hustling. You know they're right. That's not hustling. You know what hustling feels like to me? Getting out there and banging down doors, and that's hustling to me. That I'm literally sitting on my couch or in my bed or chilling, watching something or listening to something on something I'm watching, and I'm minding my business. And I'm commenting and I'm finding problems. So that's and you know what happens? People go to my link and they click on the link and they get the PDF and they sign up for stuff and they buy things. I'm just telling you. I'm giving you I just told you what to do. Now watch this. Let me tell you how some of y'all will get off the live and just sit in your feelings. You're gonna get off this live and you're gonna go right back to what you were doing before you get on here. Unless some just kicks up and you say, okay, I just need to stop being scared. What am I scared of? What am I nervous about? You need to ask yourself those questions. What is going on with me? Then you need to ask yourself that. You need to ask yourself, why are you afraid? Have to self soothe. Because don't come to me because I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm going to send you an invoice first. Because if you coming to me, we gonna get to the root cause. And you ain't going to do it no more. So don't tap my bar, talking about some coach. I was just sitting here thinking about what you said. Here's an invoice. You read? Do you want to solve the problem or do you want to just sit there in it? I don't like that kind of stuff. Solve the problem. You solve your problem by solving other people's problem. So don't sit in it. Go solve other people's problem and make some money. Okay? All right. Love y'all. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great Labor Day. In fact, no, you need to go work. All right. Bye, YouTube. All right, Substack. I'm out.